in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
As Anthony Kennedy announced his retirement from the Supreme Court effective July 31st. The announcement came on the final day of the term, and after Kennedy has served 30 years on the Supreme Court bench, Kennedy said he had a deep desire to spend more time with his family. He was appointed by President Reagan. Kennedy's retirement gives President Trump a second vacancy to fill.
Boom! Legacy made. We may not feel it as the average person, but understand this. Politically, for the president, for his legacy, nothing, and I mean nothing, will literally, pardon the pun, trump this. This could be legacy making. 2 Supreme Court picks. Swinging the Supreme Court solidly to the conservatives with a 6-3 majority. That is massive, and that is something that will be felt not for years, but potentially for decades.
Democrats are going to use every possible tack to delay this and block this. Apart from a declaration of war, this is the single most important thing any president ever does. This is going to be the single biggest fight of the Trump presidency.
Fight. Massive fight. Big fight. Huge fight. They're already starting to fight. Mitch McConnell and Chuck Schumer are going at it. I heard Nancy Pelosi in there as well. That's the kind of fight this is going to be. It is going to be huge. The power here, understand, 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago, the Supreme Court wasn't what it is today, and the importance of this country, because we're so divided and we're so litigious in everything now. Even if the people vote on it, somebody finds a way to file something. They pick and choose the courts they want to take it to in the lower side, and eventually it ends up, yes, there, top of the place, the Supreme Court, and there is nothing. And to see the importance over the last 2 days, SCOTUS ruled today in favor of telling people that if you don't want to be a part of the union, you shouldn't be forced to be a part of the union. Yesterday they ruled on Trump's travel ban. That is the importance of 5-4. Could you imagine 6-3? And dare I say this, because I apparently am a soothsayer, that he may get a third. Ruth Bader is 85. I think she's waiting to see what takes place in this next midterm before she decides. But the reality is she'll be almost 88 by the time the next presidency rolls around. So potentially Trump could have 3 picks. That is huge. Big time. Legacy making right there. Because while we will not feel it on the day-to-day side of things, the long-term reverberations over what you're going to see, it will be reverberating throughout the halls of Congress, at the White House, knowing that when certain things get to the SCOTUS, that it's going to be seen and interpreted through conservative eyes. That makes a huge difference. Oh, a massive difference.
This is power at stake at the highest level right now with this one seat on the Supreme Court.
One seat. That's it. Think about that. One seat. Kennedy was a swing vote. Socially, at times, Kennedy was pretty liberal. Remember, this is a Reagan appointee. But there were times that socially he was liberal and sided with the liberals. He's more of a libertarian in some ways. He was the centrist of this. And that is going to be tough to replace because the people they're looking at, and I'm going to throw out a name here in a minute, but the people they're looking at right now are uber conservative. You may even say, you may look at Gorsuch and say, wow, that was a very average kind of pick compared to what they're looking at now.
One of the few justices, except Justice Roberts on a couple of cases, willing to side with the Democrat, the justice appointed by Democratic presidents on the Supreme Court on issues like gay rights, gay marriage, abortion, so many other key social issues. Justice Kennedy has been the key vote. This is setting up a massive battle for the Supreme Court.
Massive battle. We heard it earlier, right? You guys heard the battle earlier. They were going at it pretty much like cats go at it. That's what it's going to sound like as they battle this thing out. I'm going to throw a name out for you. And if he's sitting there and people are already starting to maybe hum and haw about it quietly, he he would have to think about it. Remember, it's a lifetime appointment. You're a life that you get this, you get through everything. It's a lifetime. Ted Cruz. The chances of Ted Cruz being president are probably slim to none. This would change everything. Could you imagine Ted Cruz? The new Antonin Scalia? Could you imagine that? It's a possibility. He could say no, but somewhere out there, the thought process is, yeah, I might. I didn't want to last time. I'm having some battles going on in Texas, and the thought now to have an appointment for life that would swing the courts in such a way, it would be massive. Now, they say they're going to pick from the sheets that were turned in before. There's like some 24 on there. But Gorsuch wasn't on the original, so who knows? It's going to be interesting to see, though. But this is legacy making for Donald Trump. It absolutely is. Big legacy making for Donald Trump. You have an opportunity here now. Despite what may happen in the future with the economy, despite what may happen in the future with immigration, or what's going on in North Korea, we got some news about that we'll touch on in a minute. Despite all of those things, this solidly puts you in a situation where you've tilted the courts, and the courts have become more and more important. And dare I say, in many ways, more important than the other two branches of government. Absolutely it has. But the Dems, they're going to do everything in their power to fight. They can't not. I mean, I've seen it on a bunch of talking head shows today. I flipped around. They are terrified of the what if. Because they realize that everything could change based on this in a lot of their little fiefdoms in their world, especially when it comes to social issues. It could change, and they're ready to fight. They have no choice.
This replacement fight, of course, is going to be enormous. The Democrats are bound to fight like tigers, especially after losing Merrick Garland and getting Neil Gorsuch instead. They know what it would mean to have another very conservative justice on the court.
Now, two things. First, they're coming out already, Chuck Schumer, saying, you can't do this. You've said in an election year that you can't do this, right? You can't. You said in an election year we don't do these kind of things. That's why you wouldn't even give Merrick Garland even a hearing. Which they're already coming out and saying, it's totally different. That was the president making a choice. This is not the president. We're still going to be here. A good majority of us. So, no. So we can't. No reason to delay, right, Oren?
There's no reason to delay.
What?
He already has vetted almost everybody on that list.
And he says he wants it done by the fall. Chuck Schumer says he wants it done by the fall. That means it's going to happen very, very quickly, potentially. I still think, man, if the president comes to you and you're Ted Cruz and he says, think about this for a second. Just think about it, Ted. This is everything. You know the law inside and out. You have forgotten more law than people who are lawyers and are great at their job have ever remembered. You are a study of history. You understand the Constitution as it was laid out. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? At least think about it. Give me some time. I'll humor you for 24 hours and let me think about it. You would have to. Wouldn't you? I think you absolutely would. 100% if you're him. Doesn't mean he's going to. You know, they talked about a few other people, and Mike Lee, a couple other people, but I just look at Ted Cruz and I think, man, that just feels like if you're looking to replace Antonin Scalia, really replace him with a voice and a person who's a great writer, this might be it. This might be it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet along with us. A lot of stuff still to get to, and again, we're just touching on this. I want to touch in a minute on the process of this. If your name's in the house, in the hat, the vetting process. and what that's like. 3-2.